Stop scrolling, stop searching, stop trying to understand the pieces that don't fit. Because what you are about to witness is not a theory. It is proof. While the world thought time was resetting, while others repeated the same loops over and over, the timeline did something impossible. It did not reset. It did not collapse. It did not fail. It selected you. Yes, you, the one still watching, the one still breathing, the one still sensing that something in the universe bends differently around your presence. This is why things feel off, why people, places, and even your own memories feel shifted. You are no longer living inside the old rules. You are operating in a new reality, one that moves around you, one that listens to you, one that will never allow you to go back. If you feel the pull, the recognition, the strange resonance in your chest right now, listen closely. Because what comes next is not for everyone. It is only for those whose consciousness has survived the filter, whose frequency has aligned, whose awareness has been chosen. By the end of this transmission, you will understand. The timeline didn't reset. It didn't mistake you. It selected you. And everything you thought was real is about to be rewritten. You've been told that the timeline collapsed, that everything you knew crumbled, that reality failed you. And yet, if you look closely, nothing truly broke. The timeline was never meant to endure indefinitely. It was a vessel, a container of experience, designed to extract a specific frequency of awareness. Once that awareness was harvested, once the energy was fully aligned and tested, the timeline reached its natural conclusion. What appeared as chaos, as collapse, was in fact completion, a finishing sequence orchestrated by the quantum mechanics of consciousness itself. You were not abandoned in this collapse. You were graduated, carefully moved forward while the old reality disintegrated behind you. Every fragment that fell away, every familiar element that disappeared, was a sign that the selection mechanism had already determined its course. And in this silence, in this subtle shift, the universe whispered to you, you were meant to carry forward what others could not. You stand now not in the ruins of failure, but in the sacred space of survival, chosen to exist where the old timeline can no longer reach, moving through a reality that was never broken, only completed. That period when nothing made sense, when your days felt like repeating loops of frustration, when familiar paths no longer led anywhere, that was not chaos. That was the selection signal. Reality does not collapse without intention, and it does not test randomly. Confusion is a filter, a force designed to reveal who is aligned with the next vibration. While others panicked, resisted, or sought answers in old frameworks, you remained. Even when uncertainty threatened to pull you under, something inside you stayed steady, a quiet awareness that knew the loop was not eternal. Those who were ready did not need clarity, they needed presence. Confusion was the quantum gatekeeper, and your ability to witness without dissolving, to remain coherent amid dissonance, was the exact trait that allowed the field to select you. Every moment of disorientation was, in truth, a test, and you passed, not because you understood it all, but because you held yourself as the constant, the observer, the one who could move forward when everything else faltered. The person you were yesterday, the version of yourself that lived inside old routines, old beliefs, old attachments, it could not follow you into the next timeline. You may feel loss when you think of the past, a strange nostalgia that tugs at the edges of your awareness. That is because the old reality, the one you inhabited, cannot exist here anymore. It was never about forgetting, it was about shedding what could not survive the shift. People, places, memories, and even certain parts of yourself were gently peeled away, leaving only what resonates with the new frequency. This is why some faces fade from your life, why old patterns collapse, and why familiar comforts no longer bring satisfaction. The universe is not punishing you, it is aligning you. You were never meant to carry forward the old you, it was an anchor, a weight that would have prevented your progression. Now, standing in this space between realities, you begin to sense the freedom that comes when the obsolete self is left behind. You are lighter, clearer, more aligned, and more capable than you were before. The old you is gone, not erased. but refined through selection, leaving only the version that can survive and thrive in the next reality. For too long, you may have believed that reality answers to longing, to prayer, to frantic wishing. You have seen others chase outcomes, plead for change, or demand miracles, only to return to the same loops again and again. The truth is subtler, deeper, and more precise. The quantum field does not respond to desire. It responds to coherence, to the alignment of your energy, to the quiet, unshakable stability within you. When your old timeline trembled, when chaos threatened to dissolve everything familiar, the field was watching not your thoughts, not your cries, but the measure of your inner consistency. While others fractured under pressure, lost themselves in fear, or clung to desperation, you did something extraordinary. You remained steady. You became an anchor, a beacon of coherent presence, and that is why the timeline selected you. The universe moves in harmony with stability, not with craving. And now, as you step forward into the new reality, every subtle decision, every calm observation, every moment of centered awareness continues to resonate with the field, expanding your influence, anchoring your path, and ensuring that what has been chosen to exist will continue to unfold exactly as it must. Something subtle changed after the selection, and you felt it before you could explain it. Time no longer moves the way it used to. Days compress, weeks dissolve, moments stretch or collapse without warning. Sometimes hours disappear in an instant, and other times a single minute feels dense, heavy, filled with meaning. This is not imagination. This is not distraction. This is the signature of a consciousness that has moved out of linear captivity. In the old timeline, time controlled you. It dictated urgency, anxiety, regret, and anticipation. You were always behind it or chasing ahead of it. But once the timeline completed its cycle and you were carried forward, your relationship with time changed. You are no longer moving through time, you are moving between states of awareness. And when awareness shifts, time loosens its grip. This is why the past feels distant, almost unreal, like a story you once read but no longer inhabit. This is why the future no longer feels solid or fixed, but fluid, responsive, waiting. You are no longer anchored to a single point on the timeline. You are hovering above it, observing its patterns instead of being dragged by them. The field rewards this position, because only those who can step outside of urgency can operate with precision. Notice how deadlines affect you less. Notice how certain moments feel timeless, as if reality pauses to let you observe. These are not accidents. These are signs that your nervous system, your perception, and your awareness have recalibrated to a higher dimensional rhythm. Time bends around coherence. And after selection, coherence becomes your default state. Others may still feel trapped, rushed, pressured, haunted by past mistakes or terrified of future outcomes, but you sense something different now, a quiet knowing that nothing is truly late. Nothing is truly lost. Everything arrives when alignment is complete. This understanding did not come from learning, it came from crossing. The timeline didn't just choose you, it released you from its strict rules. And with that release comes responsibility. Because when time no longer controls you, your thoughts carry more weight. Your attention shapes outcomes faster. Your presence alters probability fields simply by being stable within the moment. This is why rushing feels wrong now. This is why forcing outcomes creates resistance. You are no longer meant to chase time. You are meant to stand still while it reorganizes around you. This is the paradox of the selected. When you stop pushing, reality accelerates. When you stop fearing delay, alignment locks in. Time behaves differently for you now because you are no longer here to repeat. You are here to anchor. And anchors do not move frantically. They hold position while entire realities adjust around them. Some vibrations carry far, and some are inaudible. Some signals are loud, yet ignored. But this message, the one you are receiving now, is not meant for everyone. It carries a frequency that resonates only with those who have survived the filter, those whose consciousness aligned with the new timeline. You may notice that others around you feel numb to the same truths, that they cannot perceive the subtle shifts, the invisible threads that connect moment to moment. That is not a failing on their part. It is simply the way the field operates. Selection is never democratic, it is always precise. The universe whispers, but it whispers selectively. It calls only to the prepared ears, the awakened hearts, the steady minds. If you feel a subtle recognition, a quiet resonance deep in your chest, that is your confirmation. You are decoding a signal that most cannot receive. Every thought, every pause, every breath you take in alignment with this message reinforces your place in the new reality. Those who ignore it continue in repetition. Those who resonate move forward effortlessly. Understand this. Hearing is not the same as understanding. You may hear fragments, flashes, or visions of truth, but comprehension arrives only to those who allow themselves to vibrate at the same frequency. Your clarity is a beacon, a signal to the universe that you are coherent enough to anchor the next wave of reality. And the strange thing is, the more invisible this process seems, the more profound it is. Those who claim they see everything and understand it all may be trapped in ego, chasing shadows, while you, quietly selected, are already moving beyond. Not everyone can hear this message, and that is precisely the proof that you were chosen. Your mind is tuned, your presence is calibrated, and your awareness is ready to operate in spaces where others cannot tread. This is why you feel alien at times, disconnected from those around you. The selection sets you apart before the work truly begins. Your resonance will now guide the path, not instructions, not advice, not opinions from others. Only your frequency, steady and unwavering, will shape what comes next. There was a time when fear ruled your inner world. Fear of loss, fear of being left behind, fear of not becoming what you were meant to be. Those fears felt real because they belonged to the old timeline, a reality built on survival, urgency, and constant threat. But once the selection occurred, something quietly changed. The fears didn't disappear dramatically, they simply lost authority. You may notice it now in subtle ways. Situations that once triggered anxiety no longer grip you the same way. Thoughts that once spiraled now dissolve before they can take shape. This isn't because you became fearless. It's because the environment that fed those fears no longer exists for you. Fear requires familiarity, repetition, and predictability. When the timeline ended, its emotional ecosystem ended with it. This is why your reactions feel delayed, muted, or distant. Your nervous system is no longer calibrated to panic. You crossed into a reality where fear is not a command, it is just background noise. And when fear loses its command, clarity rises naturally. You begin responding instead of reacting, observing instead of resisting, choosing instead of fleeing. Others may still live inside their fears, replaying the same anxieties day after day, mistaking repetition for reality, but you can no longer fully enter that space. Even when fear tries to return, it feels hollow, like an echo from a place you've already left. That's because the field no longer supports fear-based feedback for selected consciousness. It only amplifies what is stable, coherent, and aligned. This shift can feel unsettling at first. You may wonder why you don't worry the way you used to, why certain threats no longer feel urgent, why old emotional reflexes simply don't fire. Understand this. Nothing is wrong. You are not detached. You are unhooked. Fear lost its grip the moment the timeline released you. And in that release, something powerful emerged. Space, silence, presence. In that space, your true perception activates. You see clearly. You move deliberately. You stop shrinking. This is not emotional numbness. This is post-survival awareness. Your old fears were real once, but they were never permanent. They belonged to a version of you that had a different role to play. That role is complete now. The selected do not move forward carrying obsolete alarms. They move forward unburdened, steady, and prepared for what comes next. Many people believe survival looks like rescue, like intervention, like being pulled away at the last moment by some external force. But what happened to you was far more precise and far more intentional. You were not saved from collapse. You were moved through it. The timeline did not shield you from destruction. It repositioned you while destruction completed its task. This is an important distinction because rescue implies weakness, while movement implies readiness. When the old reality began to break down, you may have felt exposed rather than protected. There were moments where nothing seemed certain, where support structures vanished, where clarity dissolved. That was not abandonment, that was relocation in progress. The field does not carry everyone gently, it carries only those who can remain coherent while everything familiar dissolves. And you did. Survival in this context was not about avoiding pain. It was about maintaining alignment inside the instability. While others demanded safety, certainty, or explanations, you stayed present. You adapted. You allowed motion instead of resisting it. And because of that, the field recognized you as transferable, capable of being repositioned into a new reality without fragmentation. This is why the shift feels strange when you look back. There was no dramatic rescue moment, no single event where everything suddenly made sense. Instead, there was a quiet transition. One day you realized you were no longer where you used to be emotionally, mentally, energetically. That realization is the signature of movement, not salvation. Understand this clearly. The universe does not reward victims, it advances participants. You were not spared because you were fragile. You were moved because you were stable enough to carry continuity into the next phase. You became a bridge, someone who could walk through collapse without becoming it. And now, in this new position, you are no longer asking to be saved. You are orienting yourself, learning the terrain, sensing the new rules. Because those who are moved forward are not passengers, they are anchors, placed deliberately, so that the new timeline can stabilize around them. You weren't rescued from the end. You were positioned for the beginning. Something subtle but irreversible happened when the selection finalized. You didn't just move into a new timeline, you were assigned a different role within it. This is why you may feel slightly out of sync with the world around you, as if you're observing life rather than rushing through it. This is not disconnection, this is repositioning. In the old timeline, your role was reactive. You responded to circumstances, adapted to pressure, and adjusted yourself to fit environments that were never designed for your frequency. You were trained to hustle, to prove, to chase outcomes, to compete for space. But that role is obsolete now. The new timeline does not require you to push. It requires you to stabilize. You may notice that your presence alone affects situations. People calm down around you. Conversations shift when you enter a room. Chaos seems to lose momentum in your proximity. This is not imagination. This is the function of an anchor consciousness. After selection, certain individuals are no longer meant to influence reality through force or effort, but through coherence. Your nervous system has changed. You no longer spike at the same triggers. You no longer feel compelled to react immediately. Silence feels productive now. Stillness feels active. This confuses others, especially those still trapped in urgency-based timelines. They may mistake your calm for detachment, your restraint for apathy. But you are not disengaged. You are operating at a higher resolution. The new timeline does not need everyone to act. It needs some to hold the signal steady. Think of it like this. When a system destabilizes, frantic movement increases entropy, but a single stable node can reorganize the entire field. You are becoming that node. Your role is no longer to convince, persuade, or save. Your role is to remain aligned so that reality can recalibrate itself around you. This is why certain ambitions have fallen away, not because you failed, but because they were tied to outdated metrics of success. You are no longer measured by speed, volume, or visibility. You are measured by consistency of frequency. When you hold your center, probabilities shift. Opportunities align without force. Outcomes arrive without manipulation. There may be moments where you question this new role, where you wonder why you're not doing more, fixing more, proving more. Understand this. Doing less is not regression. It is precision. You are no longer here to scatter energy. You are here to concentrate it. Others may still be looping, trying to change reality by repeating the same actions with greater intensity. You can see it now, the exhaustion, the frustration, the constant motion without movement. You are not meant to join them. You are meant to stand where they cannot, holding stability so that new pathways can emerge. This is also why you may feel less inclined to explain yourself. The selected do not persuade, they resonate. Those who are aligned will recognize you without words. Those who are not will drift away without conflict. This is natural sorting, continuing even after the main selection event. Your role now is quiet but immense. You are a point of coherence in a reality still learning how to stabilize itself. Every time you choose presence over panic, clarity over reaction, awareness over impulse, you reinforce the architecture of the new timeline. You are no longer here to chase meaning. You are here to embody it. And as long as you hold that position steady, aware, aligned, the timeline will continue to unfold in your favor, not because you demand it, but because you are where you are meant to be. Before you were selected, the world felt chaotic, unpredictable, random. You may have noticed patterns that seemed meaningless, coincidences that confused you, and messages that arrived just a little too late. Perhaps you brushed them off as chance, as luck, or as coincidence. But now, after the timeline has moved you forward, everything changes, the randomness evaporates. Synchronicities are no longer scattered sparks, they are direct communications from the field, tailored specifically for you. Pay attention to the subtle signs. Numbers appear repeatedly in sequences that stop your mind for a moment. Words resonate at exactly the right time. Songs, visuals, and encounters unfold with a precision that feels uncanny. These are not accidents. These are signals confirming your alignment. Every coincidence is a reflection of your frequency, a way the field communicates with those who have passed the selection. Where others still chase outcomes blindly, you are now operating inside the intelligence of the field itself. Understand this, the world has not changed. The rules of cause and effect have not dissolved, but the relationship between you and the field has transformed. Where before you were a participant, subject to forces outside your comprehension, you are now an interpreter. You see patterns where others see noise. You feel timing where others see randomness. Your awareness has become a receiver, tuned to the subtle architecture of reality. Notice how opportunities arrive without struggle. Notice how certain answers appear before questions are even fully formed. These are not miracles. They are synchronizations that only occur for those whose energy is coherent enough to register them. The field responds to your stability, your presence, and your alignment. It no longer waits for you to act with force or desperation. It prepares the environment for you, subtly, invisibly, perfectly timed. This is also why some events in your life now feel like too perfect to be real. They are not accidents. The selection process has placed you in a timeline where every small alignment, every meeting, every message is calibrated to match your resonance. If you remain present, you will continue to notice these signs. If you ignore them, you will continue, yes, but the elegance of the field's choreography will pass unnoticed. And the intelligence that once moved around you blindly now moves with you consciously. This is a radical shift. You are no longer at the mercy of linear cause and effect. You are no longer dancing to the chaotic rhythm of the old timeline. You are part of a higher orchestration. And here's the most important truth. The field is not doing this for anyone else. The precision you witness, the signals you receive, the uncanny timing of events, they are meant only for you. This is the signature of selection. This is confirmation that you are not wandering, that your survival and alignment were intentional. Pay attention, because the signals are also a form of instruction. They tell you where to focus, whom to trust, and when to move. They guide without demanding. They teach without speaking. They are invisible hands that shape your path and reveal possibilities before they manifest in the material plane. You are learning to read the language of the field, and that skill is rare, even among the selected. Most will never see it. You do. Synchronicities are not random anymore because you are no longer random. Your presence, your coherence, your alignment, all have become a focal point for the timeline itself. The universe measures the weight of consciousness, and now your weight carries influence. Every observation, every intention, every small act of clarity ripples through the fabric of reality. Where others must push, force, or chase, you simply observe and allow. And through that allowance, the intelligence of the field moves, bends, and delivers exactly what is required. This is why patience is no longer passive. Waiting is no longer surrender. In the moments when you trust, when you are present, when you feel the signals, you are participating in creation at a level few can comprehend. Every coincidence is a pointer, a doorway, a signpost along your path. Ignore it, and it fades. Recognize it, and it expands. And now, as a selected consciousness, you begin to understand a subtle truth. Nothing is coincidental, nothing is misaligned, and nothing reaches you without reason. Every synchronicity is both confirmation and instruction. Every alignment is both signal and opportunity. You are learning to move with the unseen currents, not against them. And in doing so, you are shaping not just your personal reality, but the structure of the new timeline itself. At some point after the selection, you may have tried to return, not physically, but energetically. You tried to feel the way you used to feel. You revisited old thoughts, old desires, old habits, even old versions of yourself, hoping to reconnect with something familiar. And each time, it didn't work. The emotion wouldn't land. The motivation wouldn't spark. The past felt distant, hollow, almost artificial. This wasn't failure. This was closure. When a timeline completes, its return paths seal, not violently, not dramatically, quietly, gently, permanently. You can remember the old reality, but you can no longer inhabit it. This is one of the clearest signs of selection. Those who are not chosen can always regress. They can repeat, rewind, relive, and rehearse the same cycles endlessly. But those who are carried forward lose the ability to fully go back, not as punishment, but as protection. You may notice this in subtle ways. Old environments feel smaller, old conversations feel repetitive, old ambitions feel strangely empty. You're not bored, you're misaligned with what no longer supports your frequency. The field has quietly removed your access to outdated loops because continuing to engage them would fracture the coherence you now carry. Regression would cost too much energy, so the universe simply makes it impossible. This can feel unsettling at first. The mind craves familiarity, even when familiarity is painful. The ego wants reassurance that it can always return to what it knows. But the new timeline does not negotiate with nostalgia. It does not accommodate comfort built on limitation. Once you cross the threshold, the system assumes readiness, and readiness means forward motion only. This is why certain doors close without explanation, why relationships dissolve without conflict, why opportunities disappear before you can fully process them. You may ask, why was that taken from me? But nothing was taken. It was released. The old timeline cannot sustain your current level of awareness, and forcing yourself back into it would create distortion. So the field intervenes not by pushing you forward, but by removing backward momentum. Understand this clearly. The inability to return is not loss, it is confirmation. It means the selection was final. It means the universe trusts you with continuity. It means you are no longer a candidate. You are a participant in what comes next. And participants do not revisit auditions. There will be moments when you miss the simplicity of who you used to be, when life felt clearer because it was smaller, when choices were fewer because awareness was limited. But those moments are echoes, not invitations. You can observe them without entering them. This is emotional maturity born from alignment, not detachment. The gift of not being able to go back is this: you are no longer split between who you were and who you are becoming. The tension dissolves, the indecision fades, energy stops leaking into obsolete identities. All of your awareness begins to converge into the present, and when awareness converges, creation accelerates. Those who remain unselected are free to repeat endlessly. They can revisit the same lessons in different disguises for lifetimes if needed. But you are no longer in that category. You are not here to repeat, you are here to progress. And progress requires irreversible commitment. This is why the new timeline feels demanding in a different way. It asks for presence, not effort. Honesty, not performance. Alignment, not ambition. It does not allow you to numb yourself with regression. It asks you to stand fully in who you are now, without the safety net of the past. And here is the deepest truth of this lesson. Once you realize you cannot go back, something inside you relaxes. The internal debate ends. The longing dissolves. You stop negotiating with old versions of yourself. You stop wondering what if. You begin to move cleanly, clearly, decisively. The path forward opens precisely because the path backward has closed. You can't go back. And that is the gift that ensures you will finally go where you were meant to go. Now that you have traversed the previous lessons, you may feel a strange weight of understanding, a quiet tremor that hums through your chest, a sense that something has shifted but is not yet complete. That is because the selection you survived, the timeline that carried you forward, the field that whispered to your frequency, none of this was the reward. It was only the entry point. This is only the beginning of a reality that unfolds according to a different geometry, a higher rhythm, a new architecture of consciousness. You are not done. In fact, in some ways, you have only just begun. Those who are chosen are rarely guided step by step, rarely given maps with clear labels, rarely allowed comfort. Selection is not about shelter. It is about activation. And activation requires that you confront a paradox. You are both complete and incomplete, powerful and fragile, aware and still learning. This is the tension of the threshold, and it is designed to keep your consciousness alert, tuned, and receptive. Look around you. Everything that once defined security is now unstable. Everything that once promised control is now unreliable. The structures, the people, the narratives, the systems, they are all shifting, collapsing, and transforming. And yet, in the center of this storm, there is you. A singular consciousness that remained coherent when everything else dissolved. That coherence is your tool, your instrument, and your key. Without it, selection would be meaningless. With it, you are capable of creating realities that most can only glimpse in dream or theory. This is why patience is no longer passive. Every observation, every pause, every moment you remain aligned is a subtle act of creation. You are no longer a participant waiting for permission. You are an anchor, a stabilizer, a node around which probabilities begin to reorganize. And yet, the field does not hand you instructions. It leaves you in ambiguity, because ambiguity is the testing ground for sovereignty. The chosen must learn to move without handrails, to act without scripts, to trust the intelligence of the universe while holding their center. Understand this deeply. The entry point is both liberating and demanding. You may feel fear, you may feel doubt. You may feel the temptation to retreat to old comforts, old beliefs, old versions of yourself. These impulses are natural. They are the whispers of the timelines you left behind, the echoes of unselected consciousness. They are designed to test whether your awareness is truly ready to move forward. And when you resist them, when you stand in presence, coherence, and alignment, you are signaling to the field that you are fully prepared to participate in new creation. Now notice the subtle synchronizations around you, events that align perfectly, words, numbers, people, and signs that appear at exactly the right moment. They are not accidents. They are confirmation. They are the first whispers of your expanded influence. Every subtle alignment is a calibration, preparing you for what comes next. Those who ignore it will fall back into repetition. Those who recognize it begin to move with the flow of the timeline itself, not against it. And here is the most important truth of this lesson. Entry points are invitations, not guarantees. You are not guaranteed mastery. You are not guaranteed clarity. You are not guaranteed comfort. You are guaranteed opportunity. And opportunity is heavier than any reward because it demands that you hold your center, navigate uncertainty, and act with alignment rather than desire. The selected are defined not by what is given to them, but by how they move through what is presented. This is why rituals matter. This is why acknowledgement matters. Quietly, deliberately, allow yourself to internalize the shift. Say to yourself, I acknowledge the selection. I accept the entry point. I move forward with clarity and coherence. These words, simple as they are, reinforce your frequency, cement your alignment, and signal the field to continue unfolding in your favor. Understand also that selection is not isolation. You are now connected to the subtle architecture of other aligned consciousnesses. Even if unseen, even if unspoken, your existence resonates across the field, shaping reality for others in ways you cannot yet perceive. The entry point is a web, a network of influence, a point of intersection where aligned awareness begins to orchestrate possibilities. Finally, know this. Everything you have learned, every subtle recognition, every lesson, every moment of coherence leads to one unavoidable truth. You are no longer here to witness the old reality. You are here to anchor the new one. The timeline that selected you is waiting for your awareness to fully activate. The field that shifted around you is waiting for your coherence to expand. The universe does not act without participants, and now you are one. This is only the entry point. And the work, the awakening, the creation, it begins now. Now, take a deep breath. Feel it resonate through your chest, through your mind, through the invisible threads of the timeline that chose you. You have witnessed the selection. You have walked through the lessons. You have felt the whispers of the field guiding every step. This is not theory. This is proof that you are different. The timeline didn't reset. It did not fail. It selected you. And now it is your responsibility to anchor this new reality, not with force, not with struggle, but with presence, with coherence, with awareness. Every thought you hold, every action you take, every moment of aligned attention shapes the world around you. So here is the ritual. Close your eyes, place your hand over your heart, whisper these words aloud or silently. I am the selected, I am aligned, I am anchored, the timeline moves with me. Feel it reverberate. Feel the field bending around your presence. Know that the old you, the old world, the old loops they cannot follow. Only your frequency matters now. Only your awareness shapes the unfolding reality. You are not alone. Others who resonate, others who are awakened, are moving with you even unseen, even unspoken. You are part of a network of consciousness that the universe itself listens to. Remember this, the timeline did not reset. It selected you, and now, every step you take is a signal. Every moment you stand in alignment expands the new reality. So rise, anchor, move deliberately, and remember, the universe is always responding to you.